We were staying in the state of Penang on the mainland, not on Pulau, Penang, the island, also just called Penang, not there, where it's much more touristic because it's also much more expensive there. So it was much cheaper to stay on the mainland. But it was very easy to get to the island Penang. So first we got a Grab for 20 Malaysian ringgit. That is about $6.83 to the ferry port. And that took about 10 minutes. And then the ferry cost 2 ringgit each. So 47 cents each to take the ferry to go on the island. Super cheap. I'm pretty sure there are also lots of Malaysians, they use that to commute. There was a ferry every 30 minutes and motorbikes were allowed on the ferry as well. There were also car ferries, but they didn't go as much, not every 30 minutes, I don't know, maybe every 1 hour or so, no, I have no idea. And the ferry we took was not for cars. I think it took about 10 to 15 minutes with the ferry to get on the island. I love ferries, it's my favorite way to travel. Georgetown is very touristic, so I wasn't worried at all to expose my legs and shoulders. Where we were living, it wasn't touristic at all, and there were lots of Muslim. And I saw the women, they exposed their legs. They were wearing really short shorts, but none of them exposed their shoulders. So where we were living, I always made sure I covered up my shoulders when we went shopping or so. But Georgetown, super touristic, no problem at all. Oh yeah, when we went shopping to the mall close by to where we were living, as mentioned, it's not touristic at all there. I was standing out quite a bit. There are not a lot of women that are as tall as I am, that have their hair exposed, that are as white as I am. So most women there were Muslim and Indian. We went to Georgetown on Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. We saw in the elevator where we were living, we saw written down that June 2nd was a holiday. So we decided not to go to Georgetown on the 2nd on the holiday, but on the day after. That's why we chose to go on the 3rd. But we didn't think about that actually the day after the holiday, there are also a lot of shops and restaurants closed. So in Georgetown, a lot of shops and restaurants that were closed, they in front of the shop, it was written down that they would open the following day. So Monday was the holiday, that's why we decided to go on Tuesday, but most shops and restaurants reopened on Wednesday. In almost every country we've been so far, it's getting so hard to find postcards. I send postcards as birthday cards. For me, that's very important. I want to keep doing that. When we were still in Thailand, already then, I found on the internet in Malaysia, Georgetown, the postcard shop. Holy fucking shit, I need to go there. Of course! And it was only 6 minutes away from the ferry port. Great. And it was open. Even though it was a day after the holiday, it was open. Yes. So for once, I didn't have to look for postcards everywhere. And that postcard shop is also a coffee shop. So while I was selecting 10 postcards, Paul was drinking a mocha. We paid 20 Malaysian ringgits, so $4.71. So by the way, in all my videos, when I say dollars and nothing else, it's US dollars. So not Singaporean dollars, not Australian dollars, I mean US dollars. So anyways, 20 ringgits, $4.71 for 10 postcards. So 47 cents each. Totally cool, totally reasonable. That's how it should be, not very expensive. In some countries, we paid for one postcard more than $1. Oh, and the lady there even sold me international stamps for 1 ringgit each. 24 cents each. So cheap. So far, we never got stamps. So far, in all the other countries, we always went to a post office and sent the cards from there. And usually it was actually quite expensive. Sometimes, again, we paid over $1 just to send one card. It's like really expensive just for a postcard. Yeah, so I don't think it was ever that cheap to send postcards. I love Malaysia. Malaysia is super multicultural, especially Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous influences. Islam is the dominant religion, but there's also Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity. We walked through Little India in Georgetown, and there was everything open. So I'm pretty sure the holiday I was talking about, that was the day before we went to Georgetown, was a Malaysian holiday. So Little India, the people there didn't care about that holiday. Yeah, walking through Little India was very pretty, but I had a lot of problems with the smell because of the spices. So the entire time walking through Little India, I had to wear my bandana. Yeah, I don't know if I would do well in India. I would love to see India, but the spices, the smells, I don't think I could endure it. I don't know. Right when we came out of Little India, there was a temple, Chinese or Malay. There were altars outside of it for burning incense, I guess, to make offerings, praying. And at first, I didn't realize that this was a temple with the altars. So I told Paul, oh, look, how cool. There are people barbecuing outside. Yeah, luckily I didn't bring my meat and try to barbecue it on an altar. Hell no, that would be so disrespectful, and I would never ever do that, except there's an apocalypse and I had to roast the birds I could catch, so then yes, but otherwise I would never do that, no. So yeah, I'm glad I figured it out that those weren't little barbecues and then people were barbecuing their meat. No, they were burning incenses and making probably offerings and praying. Unfortunately, there weren't many restaurants open for Paul to eat, as mentioned, because of the holiday the day before. I always bring my own food, of course, but so we ended up in a expensive Michelin restaurant. Well, it was expensive for Malaysian standards. They had beautiful steaks there, and they were even prepared the way you ordered it. Paul ordered the ribeye rare, nothing on it but salt. The waiter even came over and asked if butter or oil would be okay, and we both said no. And it really showed up that way. Unfortunately, I didn't take any pictures. I totally forgot. Sorry, can't show you. And there was also a garlic head and some salt and spice on the side. Paul ordered it the way I would have ordered it, except I probably would have ordered it blue and not rare. But anyway, so he ordered it so I could have a little taste as well. So I tried a little bit from it, and ooh, it was super delicious. But $75.29 for a 400 gram of ribeye that wouldn't even feed me. No, that's way too much money spent. I didn't want to spend that money for me. For me, it's okay if Paul eats once in a while like this, but not me. We already spent so much money on my health, well, on my sickness, on, yeah, trying to stay healthy, getting healthy. Yeah, anyways, here is a video from Thailand back at the hospital. And to be clear, Paul always says, no, you should eat something. He would love for me to eat more expensive stuff, but I just don't wanna, because yeah, I always feel like we already spent so much money because of all the health issues I have. We went to the Fort Cornwallis. I love castles and I really like forts, but it's really not worth going there. It cost 20 ringgit, so $4.71 each. So it wasn't expensive, but yeah, there wasn't much to see there, but Paul really had to use a bathroom. So I guess it was still worth it. We paid that money so he could go use the bathroom, because we didn't see any public bathrooms. Oh, but the roosters and chickens, they were so fun to look at. They were in front of the fort walls. They had a cage, but they were free. They were just walking around. On the way back to the ferry port, we stopped at an Indian mutton and lamb butcher, and we bought some meat for me. And they had raw goat's milk. Yes, we bought some for me as well, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. I absolutely loved it. Well, we took the ferry back to the mainland and the Grab back home. On Saturday, June 14th, 2025, we went back to Georgetown. Unfortunately, I didn't really feel very well, but I really wanted to go because we were leaving Malaysia on the 19th. So there wasn't much time left anymore. And the problem is, when you're chronically ill, you kinda, how should I say? I mean, yes, of course, I would love to wait until I feel much better to do something, but you never know. You never know, does it get better or does it get worse? So I would have loved to wait a day or two and then go to Georgetown again when I feel better. But you never know. So on the 14th in the morning, I knew, I felt it like, yes, I'm not doing very well, but I can do it. We can go. So let's do it. Because I really, really wanted to go before we had to leave Malaysia. I really wanted to see the clan cherries. Because otherwise, if we wouldn't have gone on that day, the chance is just too big that we couldn't have gone at all. Wow, that time the ferry was so loud for me. It was hard to endure. Paul said the last time it was the same kind of loud in the ferry. So yeah, I wasn't feeling well the second time, so maybe that's why it bothered me much more. The first time it was loud, yes, but it didn't bother me at all. The second time it was really hard to endure, actually. I was so disappointed when we got to the Choose Cherries clan. It was so touristic, just merchandise everywhere. I read that 30% of their housing got converted to commercial outlets by 2017. I don't like touristic places, only to buy postcards. But I already had more than enough, actually even too many postcards from the postcard shop. And also a bracelet I got earlier by an art fair. I bought that at an art fair, the bracelet from Malaysia. Oh, that, do you hear it? That's the one from Malaysia. So I actually, when I bought this bracelet, I told myself, oh my gosh, that's so fucking annoying. I have to put some glue or something in that bell that it stops making that sound. And I was like, no, okay, I'm gonna wait until I'm gonna film to demonstrate it. And after that, I can put finally something in it to make it stop ring. But now I got so used to it. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but here, this is the one from Malaysia with that fox or whatever it is, and this pearly thing and the bell. Really quickly, if you want to know, Thailand, Turkey, this is the Malaysia, Serbia, Albania. Yes, this is actually a hair tie, but they were so expensive there. Slovenia, so I just bought these. The Philippines, no, not Italy, Hungary. Here, that one is from Croatia. This one here from Singapore, and this one here, this is one. They're like three together, but it's one. Paul just bought me that from here, Indonesia. And one is missing, I have to fix it, Montenegro. And the one from Switzerland, unfortunately, I lost. But when I go back to Switzerland, my hometown, I will get another one. It probably gets made right now. So excited. So yeah, I am buying a bracelet from each country we are staying at. Not the countries we're just transitioning, to the countries we are really staying at. So back to the clan cherries in Georgetown, Malaysia. So I imagined it would be like 100 years ago. I don't know, like old people sitting outside, weaving baskets, carving stuff, or making bracelets and selling that, or like, just like, yeah, I don't know. That's just how I imagined it. So I was so disappointed. It was so touristic, and just like merchandise and like just, and people, of course, lots of people. Paul said there are other clans. So we went to the Tan Cherries clan. And yes, that's so much better. That's more like it. That's what I like. That's how I imagined it. That felt so much more authentic. We also saw someone fishing there. And I felt like you could see much more like how they actually live. So the clan cherries consist of 7 villages, each owned by a different Chinese clan. They came into existence between 1880s and the 1960s. Paul ate some Vietnamese food close by the clan cherries, and then before we went back, of course, we went to the Indian butcher again to buy more mutton and also a salmon steak, and of course more of the raw goat's milk. Yeah, that was really so absolutely delicious. So we took the ferry to go back on the mainland, and unfortunately my body started to shut down. I got really weak and it was so hard for me just to walk. Yes, I have that once in a while. We always blamed CFS for it, chronic fatigue syndrome. Here is a video about CFS, but we actually think now that it's not that, but it's something like an electrolyte imbalance maybe. because I have diabetes insipidus, so maybe I can't hold electrolytes, and most likely it's also I have low blood pressure. Well, anyways, we are working on that. We think it has more to do with my low blood, like a constant low blood pressure or something, and yeah, we're working on about that sometime in the future. But so anyways, yeah, when we got to the mainland, my body shut down, and it's like you just can't walk anymore, as I barely walk anymore. It's just your legs are so fucking heavy and you're so out of breath, and you can barely standing is worse than walking. And well, but I did make it to the Grab and into the Grab car. Unfortunately, I also got a bit nauseous in the Grab car. Back at home, yes, I needed some rest, but I was still so happy we went on that day and we didn't wait for a better day, because I knew I could make it. I did make it, and it was a nice day. And I was proud of myself. I could still walk 3.5 miles, 5.6 kilometers. I still managed that. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay mobile.